Steve Loomis with Walking That Mile. Did you see Mayor Jacob Frey's press conference this morning? Completely unhinged press conference. Clearly he was emotional and he said some things that I don't know if he can come back from. He claimed he apparently watched one video, did not watch any of the other videos that are out there, because he said that there is no way that there is a legal justification for self-defense. He said it's a garbage defense. He said it's on the ICE agent. He said it was an ICE agent on a power trip who was mad that this person didn't stop. That makes me think that he saw the one video, the first video that I also saw, which was confusing when it was played because I didn't even see who shot, because the person who shot wasn't even in the frame. I think that's what he thinks. I think that's when he did that press conference. I think that's the only video that he saw. And he thought that that guy who was trying to get the driver's door open was also the person who shot the woman. And we all know that that's not true. If you watched any of the other videos, if you took a second to actually gather some evidence before you get in front of, get on national television, a live press conference, and use the F word, he told ICE to get the F out of Minneapolis. And it's been their rhetoric. And it's always, it's the same playbook. It's always the Democrats. It's always the liberals' rhetoric that says that law enforcement is the problem, the Republicans are the problem, people on the right are the problem, except that all the people on the left are the ones out there protesting, out there getting in the way of ICE. They all have these whistles. They're city council members in Minneapolis, legislature, members of the legislature are out making videos about how they're driving around trying to find ICE operations so that they can call them in, so that they can blow their whistles. That's all on the left. I saw a really good post that makes a lot of sense to me. If you look at how many deportations have gone on during the Trump administration, it's less. It's a lot, but it's less, from my understanding, than Obama. It's less than Clinton. And yet we didn't have any of these issues. The liberals weren't out there protesting every time federal law enforcement was trying to do their job. And so in this case, I believe that Mayor Jacob Frey and Governor Walz's rhetoric over the last couple of weeks, at least, that I have paid attention, saying specifically things like this. Mayor Jacob Frey uses terms like, I don't want anybody in our community to get hurt just because they're out protecting their neighbors. And what is he talking about? Protecting their neighbors? He's using protecting their neighbors from law enforcement. You can't protect your neighbors from law enforcement. If they're under arrest, if they're subject to an arrest warrant, you don't get to do that. You don't get to, quote unquote, protect them from that. That's not a thing. That's obstruction of justice. I don't exactly know what this woman was doing. She got in the middle of things, was sideways on the road. The law enforcement got out of their vehicle to approach her, told her on the video that's hard to see that she needed to get out of the vehicle. She refused. There was a law enforcement officer in front of her vehicle. She backed up, put it into drive, and drove straight at that guy. And that guy, you can see on the better video, better angle, this guy sees that she is coming forward and he has time to draw and fire. But she's coming right at him. It's really clear. So for Mayor Frey to get on national TV on a press conference, tell ICE to get the F out, tell the public that this was not just that he already knows that it's not justified. From the one video that he saw, he had no idea about the use of the valid claim of use of deadly force. He thought it was the guy who was coming up to the door to try and get this woman out. That is not leadership. Of Omar Fateh and Jacob Frey, I was glad that Jacob Frey got it, because I thought Omar Fateh would be a disaster. Mondani obviously is already a complete disaster in New York, and I knew Fateh would do the same thing in Minneapolis. But Frey, I mean, he's not good. He's already been the mayor through the biggest riots in Minneapolis history over the George Floyd incident. And it's a tinderbox, and he wants to light it. He seems to want to light it. I mean, everybody on the Democratic side, everybody on the left wants to try and stick it to Trump. And so if Trump, says, or Trump's administration says that ICE is coming to your town to deport all the illegal criminal aliens that are in your town, they're going to fight that tooth and nail. But he does it in his words too. He cannot try and bridge the gap at all. He cannot try and, he would just have to say that, yeah, you don't have to like it, but this is legal. They are going looking for illegal aliens. The federal government can do that. We're a sanctuary city, which is nuts. But the federal government, doesn't have to abide by that, and they can come in and do what they want, and you should stay out of their way. Let them do their operations. If you get in the way, this kind of thing happens. And I think, we will never know unless they actually pull up some evidence on her phone or, social media posts or something like that, where she says that, like, she's emboldened by Mayor Frey and Governor Walz. But I think was emboldened by the rhetoric that they continue against ICE, saying that they are rock solid. Mayor Frey says he's rock solid. We are rock solid with all of our neighbors, including the immigrants, including the illegal immigrants, obviously. All he would have to do is say, to try and help, is say, stay out of law enforcement's way. Like, that's not justified. You're just going to cause problems. You don't have to like it, but this is the way it is. That would be leadership. And it would be very difficult, and both he and Governor Walz could never do that. Obviously, they are not to that level. It is all about talking about Trump and the right and vilifying law enforcement. He still does it. This ICE agent had a woman drive, at speed, accelerate towards him, and he made the split-second decision that he needed to fire, and he did. And it'll all come out. I'm sure it'll be a long, drawn-out process for that person. But to watch one video and then get on national TV and say that it was not justified, that self-defense is a garbage argument, and that ICE needs to get the F out of Minneapolis, that's not leadership. That's not leadership. It's the same leadership we all had to live through the George Floyd riots. Terrible is what that is. Terrible leadership. I'm surprised that of course, the woman was not Somali. Woman was a white woman, or this could already be going very, very badly. I don't think it's bad yet. They're trying. They're stoking the flames. They are trying to make this terrible, so that then they can blame it on the right. They can blame it on Donald Trump's administration. I am more and more convinced that the politicians, especially on the left, are just using everybody. They are just using people. He panders to the Somali community and has been for a while, but especially now that Donald Trump made he made some bad statements. I don't agree with his statements, the way that he approached that, but the Somali community, a large number of them, have taken billions and millions of dollars through fraudulent means in Minnesota. But for him to pander to them, he only did it because he knows their numbers. There's between 70, 75,000 and 100,000. And if he gets their vote, then he wins. And he won re-election, and he knew that. And so his victory speech was in Somali, which is really crazy. You just have to sit back and think about that. And so again, I was thinking that he was going to probably do his press conference whenever I saw it, and I just happened to flip to it, and he went crazy. I thought he might do it in Somali, but he didn't do that. He did equally disgusting things, pandering to the left, blaming ICE, blaming that law enforcement officer who's out there trying to do his job. They're all out there just doing their job. This is their job. They go find illegal aliens and they arrest them and they deport them. Well, they arrest them based on their detainers, and then the courts decide if they're going to get deported or not. That's all their job is. It's, simple as far as not a lot of steps. There's a warrant, there's a detainer, we find the person, we arrest the person. But then all of this rhetoric, it makes it so complicated and makes it so dangerous. And these politicians, they fuel it. They fuel it. I don't know if Mayor Jacob Frey can come back from that press conference. That was eye-opening for me. That was a big fail for him. Because when he sees the rest of the videos and sees that there is justification for the use of force. Now, he still might not agree that the deadly use of force should have occurred. But to just say that's a garbage argument, I'm confident that he was just watching the one video. He was even asked by a member of the media about, well, you didn't even see in the video the woman driving towards an ICE agent? And he did pause and say, no, not that I know of. So I don't think that he even saw the video where it showed clearly that this woman was driving forward. She seemed to be accelerating, and the ICE agent was right there. I think the ICE agent actually got hit by the car, grazed by the car, I would say. So you should watch it. Watch the full Unhinged press conference with Mayor Jacob Frey. Then he pulls the police chief up there. And unfortunately, the police chief says some of the same things as far as they've been saying for weeks, that this would be a problem. The feds don't talk to them. The feds don't talk to them because we know that you will tip off anybody in the area. You are not law enforcement friendly. You are not supportive of law enforcement, and therefore we know that if we told you about an operation, that information would get to that area, and those people wouldn't be there. If you would work with us, then yes, we could tell you that we're doing an operation in a certain sector of the city and be ready for it. But we don't trust you. because you have proven to be untrustworthy. But it's going to be a big deal. I hope that they can keep it under control up there. I mean, it's terrible to have to say, but it was a white female who was shot. And I think that that fact alone may save the city, even with all this terrible rhetoric from the politicians on the left. That's all I've got for now. Steve Loomis with Walking That Mile.